Hey guys, this is Geek Girl Vlog number 4. Today we're going to discuss the lives of 4 awesome Jedi you likely haven't heard of before. We're going to start off with Barton Jusik, who was a Jedi during the Clone Wars. He was awesome because he saw how the Clone Wars demoralized the Jedi and eventually led to their own destruction. Barton really respected the lives of the clones, and he realized that's what the Jedi should have stood for. But he realized the Jedi Order wasn't doing that. They accepted this whole slave army for the purpose of fighting their war, and he realized that's not what Jedi are supposed to stand for. They're supposed to stand for defending lives, and just because they were clones didn't mean they were less human than the next, than you or me, or himself, or anyone. And he realized it was wrong, and that initially led him to resigning from the Jedi Order. After he resigned, there was one clone he had served with who was really badly injured, and when this clone Fi was taken to this hospital in Coruscant to be treated for his injuries, the people who took him there, like the other clones, and they were told, well, they're just going to basically euthanize him because, well, his injuries are really bad, and yeah, even though we would treat a citizen, he's a clone, so he's not really a citizen. He doesn't count as a human. And so they led this whole attempt to get him out of the hospital. They got the clone out of the hospital, and he really realized how it wasn't just the Jedi, but the whole Republic was dehumanizing the clones. And so after Fi was rescued from this hospital, where he basically was going to be killed because they decided the hospital people decided his life wasn't worth saving because he was a clone. Barton treated his injuries and was able to use the Force to heal his brain damage to a great extent, and so he survived. That leads us to Etain, who was a friend of Barton Jusik, also served during the Clone Wars. She was a Padawan when the Clone Wars began, and her master was killed by unrelated events. Well, kind of, it had to do with the Separatist stuff, but this was right as the Clone Wars was declared, and so she didn't really know what was going on. So she just suddenly meets all these clones, and she's like, wait, what? That the Jedi did what? They accepted an army of slaves, and her thoughts were very similar to Barton's, that no, Jedi aren't supposed to have slaves. We accepted these lives that were created for the purpose of fighting a war, and she realized, like Barton, that was wrong, and she developed deep emotional attachment for these clones, and she even fell in love with one of the clones she served with, and they had a son together. They got married just before she was killed. She resigned from the Jedi Order, but she was killed on Coruscant the night of Operation Nightfall. Which was sad, but she also was awesome for similar reasons, because she saw that the Jedi Order was demoralizing themselves and they kept trying to justify it. Now we're gonna go on to Roan Shrine. I'm not sure how to pronounce his name because they never really give a pronunciation. Okay, after he realized what was going on in Order 66 and got, the signal from, how everyone knows how Yoda and Obi-Wan snuck back into the Jedi Temple to send out this signal warning any surviving Jedi to stay away. He and these other 2 Jedi were like, okay, they're not really sure what's going on. So he and Bal Chadak and Ollie Starstone, they were able to evade Order 66 together, though they eventually ran into Darth Vader, and Bal Chadak was killed, and that gave Roan and Ollie a chance to escape. Eventually he faced Darth Vader again, though, and Vader confessed who he was. The Jedi had this thing called the Lost 20, which was 20 Jedi over the history of the Jedi Order who had left for various reasons, and as Roan Shrine was fighting Darth Vader, he realized Darth Vader had been a Jedi, and he said, wait, are you one of the Lost 20? And Vader says, I'm the Lost 21st, and he says something like, haven't you heard of Anakin Skywalker, the Chosen One? And so he died knowing that Darth Vader was Anakin Skywalker, but that knowledge died with him. Now we're going to go on to Ganner Rysode, who was a Jedi during the New Republic, and when Luke Skywalker refounded the Jedi Order. Ganner kind of started out as an arrogant head up his ass, but why he's awesome was because after the loss of another Jedi who was a bit younger than him, we'll get into this other Jedi later, that will be our final Jedi, he was just changed. It was during the Yuuzhan Vong War, which was this war of this whole psychotic alien race, who wanted to just annihilate the entire galaxy. But Ganner, towards the end of his life, he was able to realize, the galaxy didn't revolve around him, and he initially gave up his life for the sake of Jacen, Han and Leia's son, who had been kidnapped. And okay, so little background: Jacen, Han and Leia's son, who was a Jedi, had been kidnapped about a year before Ganner went off to find him, and no one was really sure if he was alive or not, because some people sensed that he was dead, some people didn't, and so they're all like, what? Ganner was convinced that he was still alive, so what Ganner did was he went and found him. And so Ganner gave his life saving Jacen's life, and this is his epic speech. As the Yuuzhan Vong were coming in to attack him, he blocked the way, and they're trying to get through. And here's what he says: I don't have to stop you. All I have to do is slow you down. You want me to move? Come on and move me. There are thousands of warriors here, his enemy said. You are only one man. And Ganner says, I am only one Jedi. You're insane. The man's answering laugh was deep and long and bright and full of joy and freedom. No, I am Ganner. He spun his shining blade in a dazzlingly complex flourish that illuminated the arch around him, making it shine like a rainbow frame for the pure animal grace of his body. This threshold, he announced through a happy grin, is mine. I claim it for my own. Bring on your thousands, one at a time, or all in a rush. I don't give a damn. None shall pass. That's Ganner. Our final Jedi is Anakin Solo, the other son of Han and Leia. Leia named him Anakin because she wanted to redeem the name. She struggled for a while with the fact that Darth Vader was her father, but she was able to accept it eventually and come to terms with it, and so she named her youngest child Anakin to redeem the name, to say, I believe this Jedi, my son, is going to be what my father should have been. And I believe Anakin really did redeem the name in his short life. He was 17 when he died. Anakin did struggle with this turmoil of, oh no, am I going to become the next Darth Vader? And, because he had the Skywalker lineage, the dark side was tempting, but in the end, he was 17 during the Yuuzhan Vong War. He's the Jedi that, kind of, when he died, that kind of kicked Ganner in the butt. But Ganner, with Anakin, he led this whole strike team too. The Yuuzhan Vong were creating these creatures to hunt and kill Jedi. They couldn't be sensed in the Force, they couldn't use the Force on them or anything. And so, Anakin, when he was 17, he led a whole group of Jedi ranging from, the youngest was his 15-year-old girlfriend, most were about 16, 17, 18, 19, the oldest were maybe 20 or so. And he led this whole group of young Jedi to take out these creatures that the Yuuzhan Vong were creating to hunt and kill Jedi. And in the very last moment, he gave his life to kill the creatures. And I'm sorry, I can't recall their name, and even if I could, I wouldn't be able to pronounce it, so I'm not going to try. But he gave his life for that, and he had so much to live for, but in the end he redeemed the name of Anakin. And I think these 5 Jedi really, they made a difference. You know, they were different from everyone else, and you know, even if they just impacted one life, you know, they were different. They noticed stuff other people didn't, and they were willing to go an extra mile to say what they felt and do what they felt was right, and even at the cost of their lives. And I think they're all wonderful for that. Thanks for watching. Bye, guys.